So it's really just a certain distance, a certain distance from the ledge. If I spin right now, certain distance from the ledge, he will but he'll go off the ledge right when he's facing the correct direction to actually be able to jump, which would be like right now. If he went off on this frame, then he would jump, but I think this is going to be a frame late. Yeah, so 1 frame later was not. Or wait, he did go off right after that frame, so that was a jump. But like if I were to, whoops, I thought I had a save state. If I were to spin like. This is definitely late. See, he's already turned too much for this to turn into a jump, so he just kind of spins up. So it's just about spinning at a certain distance from the edge. But then just do something here. If you ever spin in such a way, I mean, how close your spin is to the edge of these lily pads as well is kind of doesn't matter for how much distance you're going to do. If you ever get too much distance and you're like overshooting, you can kind of just press back to like flick down to cancel your momentum when you're on top when you're over one of the lily pads. Here, this trick is really lenient. It's just you're just gonna turn human and then instantly like mash to roll and kind of roll in this general direction toward this lower part of the ledge here, and you can hop up on it. But see up if you need to. But keep in mind the lily pad is moving back and forth a tiny bit, so I'm not moving anything right now. This is just the lily pad. But anywhere generally in that area is going to work. You take off the mask and just mash for a roll, and then mash the mask button again and spin up here. This is a little weird how you can get up on it from all the way down here, but try to cut this corner reasonably tight. But try not to do that. Wait, I forgot I didn't make a save state yet. My subconscious is trying to get me to get more chances at doing that. And yet I keep failing. Okay. Not failing, just getting the other frame that's just as fast. Okay. Turn right when you're coming out of that flower. I guess I never described that exactly, but you have a certain number of frames to hold the direction to turn without losing any time before you can actually come out of the flower and actually fly. And then of course you have more frames, so you just sit here extra time and keep turning if you want to, but there's a few frames where you can turn just a little bit for free without losing any time, still coming out as soon as you can. And then, okay, fly a little more directly than that to this spot right in front of the statue here. You'll get this text sections that are like separate from each other. So I'm really just timing an press, I guess. I don't know. It's something you have to get a feel for. Basically, for each section of quick text for each separate section of quick text that you can advance to all in one chunk, you want to just try to press B at the beginning and then switch to A to clear it at the end and switch back to B for the next chunk of quick text. I wasn't doing a very good job there because it's kind of awkward when you have a save state within the text like this. But as soon as you get out of that text, transform, and then just mash A to the top of the statue, and then you're going to learn Song of Soaring, and then you're going to pause. Let's see here on the route, pause, and set the Deku Palace map point. The way the pause menu works is it's setting a certain index for where your cursor is on a map, and it turns out that all of those cursor positions correspond to cursor positions on the soaring map, which is really a different map with different spots. But every index on the pause menu map corresponds to a different every location on the pause menu map that you can put the cursor over corresponds to a different location you can soar to. So you're just putting the cursor over the Deku Palace map point so you can soar to the village tower, and you'll end up here. And really what I recommend doing here is super slide. So slash this to get a bomb drop, and then full bomb, quick turn with a decent angle, and then do a super slide, hopefully better than the one that I just did. So I guess one thing to know, this is pretty minor, and you probably just want to like, when you're new, you probably just want to get an angle kind of like this to like get. I for some reason can't super slide right now, but you probably want to get an angle kind of like that, so that you can get past the ice before you have to drop the bomb and roll for the super slide. However, if you want to walk more to the right, it takes a little more time to set it up, so you might end up being kind of halfway on the ice still when you start the super slide, but this actually saves quite a bit of time to get an angle more like this. Well, more like that, like more like aimed toward this tree, but not quite. Like aimed there rather than aimed like over there. So the difference would be like, you'd be like just walking more to the right there like that. And you for some reason it's just completely impossible to super slide while I'm talking. So that is like a pretty much perfect angle. So that is like a pretty much perfect angle. Like I'm gonna be, well, like I could have been a little bit more toward the tree, but that's a lot better than if I had just done the angle that's easier to get quickly, but not quite as. This is gonna be, I'm gonna be kind of hitting on this slope, and like even, like you can carry that all the way into the load zone, but even if you're like kind of aimed at this big boulder snowball thing, that's kind of slow. You kind of really do want to be aimed like over here. I don't know if the load zone actually starts earlier on this side or what, but for some reason that is quite a bit faster, like at least half a second. I don't know, maybe just about half a second. Okay. So that's what I recommend there, is to do a super slide. The ice does make it awkward, but if you practice the movement, you should be able to get past the ice in time to do a super slide. Okay, so for this, I mean, you can just do a completely easy thing here and just roll. I'm not really recommending using a bomb here because the first, using a bomb at the beginning, well, there's a few different options for how to use a bomb. I'm just recommending getting a good angle for a back walk there and then quick turn and back walk. That's my basic, easy recommendation. There are ways to pull a bomb right here at the very beginning, but if you're trying to carry that, if you're trying to pass and carry it all the way to the very end into the load zone, that's incredibly hard. So I don't recommend trying to learn that right off the bat. You can do a super slide, but it doesn't really save much time. Instead, what I recommend if you want to do something a little bit faster is to walk a little bit toward up left here, and then a little more toward up left than that. Sorry. And then do a recoil flip off of that tech type, just to save a little bit of time on the way to that first bridge. And then, if you're comfortable using an extra bomb, you can also pull a bomb somewhere around here. Get this upright-ish angle, and hopefully not super slide into the ice. I almost hit the ice there. It's kind of tight to get the angle to do a super slide, but you'll get used to what kind of. Again, this kind of depends on your diagonal. Like if you have a straight angle here, then maybe your diagonal is such that you can just, as soon as you turn upright, you basically have the angle. For me, it's more like the super slide saves about 4 seconds if you pull. You know, when you're first starting out running this route, even though I have like a bunch of extra bomb drops written in the route, I'm recommending that you get a bunch of extra bomb drops, but you're still probably going to run out and need to get even more extra bomb drops. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend trying this super slide, right when you first start running the game. But if you find that your movement is clean enough to set it up consistently in 4 seconds, here, just as soon as you gain control, let me actually do it as soon as I gain control. Side hop. The side hop is because if you start trying to roll in the ice, you kind of just you kind of gain you kind of
I need to look up how to do a mega flip or a super slide in this game. These damn sound effects. Hey, what's up, dude? Doug. Okay, what does it say I'm streaming? Oh, it says I'm streaming Link to the Past still. Can't get the timing for these super slides. The sound effects back, it's bothering me a lot. How do I get the fucking sound effects back? Oh. I haven't gotten one yet. It's a lot earlier than I think it is. Okay. I'm gonna not even try to super slide here, I think, when I do actual runs. Whatever, dude.
Build momentum slowly on the ice. It's maybe kind of hard to tell, but it's much faster to get up to full speed immediately with the side hop, and then just roll to that corner. Also on ice, oops. On ice, you can actually mash rolls. I'm not sure if that's actually faster. I think. Someone should tell me if that's actually faster, because I have not been doing that with runs, but I've heard something about mashing on ice. I think it's at least not slow like normal roll mashing is. Anyway, go to that corner and slide down. 2 more rolls and get this bomb drop. Without this bomb drop, you could skip this bomb drop, but without it, the route would be like pretty much bomb perfect at some point. So you definitely want to get this bomb drop. And then sword to Great Bay, which is just the default location. So like you're not doing a pause here at all. You just pull the ocarina and play Song of Soaring, and then mash A, and you will sword to Great Bay. I'm gonna load the state so we don't have to watch a sword. So here, basically as soon as you gain control, just kind of roll down right and into the water and start swimming. The cow, you have to push the cow to shore. And he's on a cycle where he bobs up and down. Okay, you're gonna get this text when you get to about here. When you get this text, mash through with A and B while you're still holding the direction, or you at least have to start holding the direction as soon as the text ends. I just keep holding the direction, mash A and B, and then I hold A out of the last text box. Anytime text clears in this game, for some reason there's a slight delay. I guess because they want, if you're like mashing the text, they don't want
It's a minor detail I don't care about. Yeah.
You clear the text box by pressing A, and then keep hitting A again. So there's a short delay of like, I don't know, a quarter of a second or something, third of a second before your A presses actually do anything in the game. So you can kind of mash the text box and then start holding A like right now, and it won't actually dive like it says it will. And if you swim directly to the cow, you do this movement exactly like I just did, then the timing of him moving up and down, you can see him moving up and down right now. It'll work out so that you can just do this. And then play... Oh, sorry, I should play Song of Double Time the way that you should play it. Song of Double Time is a hilariously difficult song to play fast. So just play it slow like that. Something about repeated notes in this game. The game really does not want you to play it out quickly. But yeah, you can. So this is all assuming that it was still day one, by the way. If you were slow at some point earlier in the route, and it ended up being nighttime before you got here, you should probably just go ahead and watch the cutscene. But pretty soon you will be good enough that you will be able to consistently get here while it's still daytime and do that cutscene skip.
Oh wait.
If for some reason you mess up the movement to Macau, I mean it's pretty easy to just swim straight to him like that.
Shut up, Max.
And then you can hold A. Oh, by the way, I didn't fully explain the pushing Macau part. You're holding A out of that text because when you hold A, when you're holding A in advance as you swim up to him, that's what causes you to like automatically home in on him and start pushing him as early as possible. Like right now, you see how I kind of snapped to him. Now I'm just holding up, and then I'm switching to holding like between up and up left, and I'm still holding A. I don't have to release A. The game just automatically makes me start walking at some point because Macau is on the shore. So I was just holding A, and then I was holding between up and up left, and at some point I just automatically started walking past him. I reacted to that and started walking up, and I walked up to about this point where I will be able to play the Song of Healing to heal Macau. And played Song of Double Time, which again only works from day to night. But yeah, if yeah, I don't know. You can learn to pay attention to his up and down cycle if you really need to learn how to back it up. If you know, in the case where you somehow got to him really slowly and missed the cycle, but you probably don't really need to do that. Okay, and then you should already be in a good spot to play Song of Healing. So do that. I guess if you're slightly slow though, you're probably not going to fully miss the cycle. But if you're slightly slow, you might have to stop earlier than I did. Like I walked all the way up to here where I can already kind of be in the right place to play
Max,
the song.
stop!
But if you want to play it safe, you could maybe walk up to like here or something, and then do one roll after playing the song. Yeah, walk to here, play the song, and then after you gain control again, just do one roll up and play the other song, Song of Healing. Okay, so you play Song of Healing, you get the Zora mask, and then watch a very long cutscene, which I'm going to skip here, and respawn here. So this is a bit awkward.
Max, stop!
I'm going to recommend doing a super slide, but the absolute easiest thing to do is just, well, no matter what you want to do here, you're going to hold right and then roll once and change the camera. And this, I just happened to roll on the right frame that I got a really nice angle here. Basically, just barely to the right of this little white wall thing with the waves on it. Is what you want.
No.
And you have to walk a little bit farther than this, and then you can quick turn. if you don't, so I'll just show all the different ways it can go wrong that I know of. If you try to quick turn too early, it's not actually happening. If you try to quick turn too early, I know it might slightly depend on your angle, but if you try to quick turn too early, you can target the grade, which will ruin your chances of getting a good super slide, and you'll have to set up the angle again. Whoops. Also, if you're like too far to the right, you're gonna have to deal with levers that are gonna pop up, and probably if you're trying to do a super slide, you're gonna like try to set it up, and then they're gonna like mess with you and blow up your bomb, and that's annoying. So you want to get an angle kind of like that, which might take a little bit of like adjusting. I keep on getting the correct one immediately, but if you, I'm blaming the lag for that one.
I don't care about this.
And the perfectly need to, you can just all the way in. That super slide does save a good bit of time, but if you really need to, you can just do basically the same movement, but then back walk instead. There, if I hadn't walked a little bit forward, even though I had the right angle, the correct angle immediately, if I hadn't walked a little bit forward, I might have targeted the grave when I tried to turn around. So this isn't the end of the world if you want to do that. Is there anything else to say about this? Yeah, you can't really walk too far either, or else you're going to deal with it. There's kind of a small space in there where there's kind of this small area that you have to start the super slide without having levers all over you. So if you have to like you have to just stop here for a second, or just stop somewhere to help the super slide, man. Come on.
Dude, I don't give a fuck about this super slide.
Okay, here I'm not really recommending anything fancy here. I'm just recommending regular swimming. There's a super swim. There's multiple ways you can set up a super swim here. I am going to recommend the super swim later in the run, but the super swim here is not as important. It doesn't save as much time, I think, and it also maybe it saves some amount of time, but it's much harder. So I'm just going to recommend basic roll to the water and then swim. You might need to pull out your Zora berry there to kill a fish, but then just swim there. Well, I guess I'll just explain. You can do this pause anytime, by the way, like after you use the bomb for the super slide. But yeah, equip Zora Mask over the bombs, and you don't want to just. The reason why you don't want to just immediately turn Zora is because you get a longer cutscene. You get this full cutscene with the screaming. Deku Link doesn't know how to scream, so he gets a shorter cutscene. Yeah, I mean, avoid all these enemies. I don't know, I don't think I need to tell you how to do that. And then once you get into, I guess I should explain how to get into the dolphin dives. I mean, I'm not totally consistent at it, but the best dolphin dive is like the shallowest one possible, like the lowest dive possible. That's like, that is a high dolphin dive, that is a high dolphin dive. That's obviously not high enough to be a dolphin dive at all. But yeah, ideally you're getting like the lowest possible dives. Like some of these are good. That one's good. That one's good. That's not. There's it's there's a bunch of different heights you can get, but basically just as you're entering the water again, you're just pressing down very slightly.
What's that rating?
Right or whatever if you're trying to
Echo? God damn it.
And yeah, you just want the dolphin dives that
I don't know how to do anything about that.
That high. If you pay attention, you can tell that some of these that I'm getting are slightly higher than others. You definitely don't want to like, do these huge ones that some people do.
Yeah, I don't know how.
So on to Zora Hall, and then
how I can not have an echo here.
Figure out how to say about this. Snowhead map point. Right. So yeah, when you pause, you're not going to pause right here. You're going to pause in Zora Hall. But when you pause, in this case, so in most cases, you kind of just want to tap around, tap to move the cursor. Press the stick like 3 separate times or 2 separate times to get to whatever you're trying to get to. But when you have
maybe I just mute my microphone until I feel like talking to you guys.
The cursor, if you can hold it in advance. So for instance, in this case, like what you can do is when you pause, already start holding right. Just as soon as you've pressed pause, start holding right and don't release it until you're on that map point. And that will move the cursor very quickly. So yeah, you'll set the map point to Snowhead and then you'll soar, and then you will be... Oh, I guess I don't have a save state for this, but it's not really... it's not really difficult. You're gonna be out here, you're gonna play the song while standing on the... you're just gonna step like 1 inch. Oh, whoops. I don't have a flying cheat. I'll just show from here. You're gonna step 1 inch from that owl onto the platform and play Sonata of Awakening, and then step another inch into that flower. And in this area, you want to be targeted when possible while flying, because the lag is really bad in this area, and being targeted reduces the lag somehow, I guess just because there's black bars at the top and bottom of the screen, so it's not rendering as much stuff. That's the only explanation I can think of. But you'll get much more lag if you're not targeted for that. So, I mean, get a good angle, because you don't want to fall off here. You know, fail to make it across. But once you get a good angle, just target and keep that angle. So you might accidentally fly with this angle or something, so you might have to do some goofy whatever. But you should be targeted as much as you can. Okay, and then you're in Woodfall Temple. You're just gonna spin off of this ledge. I think it doesn't matter. Or in that case, whether you get the little hop off the edge or not exactly sure. But then spin one more time into a kind of angle where you're pointed directly toward this corner here, this corner of the root and the wall, and then try to target before these bows become targetable. And then backflip up onto this root, 1 side hop, 3 spins, and then just fly. And I'm kind of looking at... Where's my big red arrow? I'm looking at this line on the ground right here. See, the edges of the platform have like a line here. The arrow is like kind of getting in the way. There's like a line here, and then there's another line here, and then there's another line here. I'm kind of looking at this line, and I'm kind of aiming for that, or a little bit to the right of that, to very safely fly onto this platform and not get hit by this guy. See, I can spin right past him right here, and that's fine, but if I were right here and tried to spin, he would own me, or maybe if I were right there, he would own me. Okay. So yeah, land somewhere right here and spin to the door. Turn human, and then play Song of Double Time again. And the reason we're doing this is so that it will be day 2 when we get to the woods. We need to use the grotto in the woods, which is only there on day 2. And day 2 woods is also faster anyway. Because the other witch that you need to talk to... Whoops, I just tried to move my chair and kicked my desk. The other witch you need to talk to will be in the woods instead of in her hut. Okay, so what's next? So we're doing the torch thing. There's a setup that you can do that's not too bad. If you want to try to copy what other runners do, that's fine. But I'm just gonna recommend the totally easy thing, which is just mash through this text roll once, and set up somewhere around here, like in between these two lines. It's fairly lenient, but it also matters what frame of hover you get. You know, if you get like a pure height hover versus distance or whatever. You know, get this angle pointed toward the middle of the torch, and then turn around. You can shield turn to make sure you get to make it easier to get a straight turn. And then do this equip. I'm putting choose and bombs back on the buttons where they were before, so that you don't have to move the Zora mask manually. You can equip bombs on Z like I just did, and then move them to Y. So what I just did is I put choose on X, then I put bombs on Z, and then I move the bombs to Y, which does kind of a swap of those two C button equips, so that you don't have to, you know, go and get Zora mask back. Because you still want Zora mask equipped, you just want it on a different button now, because presumably you want the bombs on the same button as before. Again, you can do whatever equips you want. I'm just recommending it this way. Okay, and then you are going to, from here, do a hover. You can do a distance hover, or even like more than a distance hover that like loses a little bit of height. This is very lenient if you do it this way. That was a little bit farther than you would maybe like to go, but a little bit of height. This is very lenient if you do it this way. More than a hover. You can do a distance hover, or even like more than a distance hover that like loses a little bit of height. This is very lenient if you do it this way. That was a little bit farther than you would maybe like to go, but it's fine. Actually, I really should have messed with this a little bit more. You can probably figure out where exactly to set up to make it, maybe this is a little bit better, so you won't actually accidentally go too far, like on this line. Let's see. I'm saving state here. See, that's a little bit better. So when you land like that, you can just hold down left, and hopefully your down left is not so terrible that you fall down. For me, it works there to jump up onto this ledge. And you don't have to do that jump slash if you find it scary. But you can also, by the way, for instance, if you fail the first try of ISG, you might want to do this, or you just might want to do it anyway. You can do kind of a... Well, actually, I'm not sure if that is going to work. Let's see. You can do kind of... Oh, that works. I know you can do like almost a pure height hover, but a pure height hover probably doesn't work. Like this might be close to failing. Let's see. Okay, no. Maybe the place where I'm standing is just really good. So maybe closer to this line is where you want to set up. But you can mess with it, and yeah, just know that the distance of your hover does matter. But it's not crazy precise. It seems like, in my experience, it seems like a longer, like a more of a distance hover works, but sometimes a shorter hover also works, but there's like an in-between frame sometimes that doesn't work, but it probably depends. It can probably depend on where you're standing as well. So you just have to find a place where you're comfortable standing and practice it a few times. Also be aware C-up, since you're C-upping here. Actually, no, it doesn't matter. We have the ocarina here, so you're not going to get the title text. Okay, so yeah. Let's see if this in-between frame works. Okay, see that? Okay, see the in-between frame is where you're maybe getting too much distance and like overshooting and falling down here. Okay, but there's two kind of different kind of lenient windows where you can land right in the middle of the torch, and then hold down left to jump off the torch, and you can, I'm not going to do it again because I've just did it so many times, but you can see, if you rewind, you can see that I released the stick very briefly before I jump slashed. So after I held down left to jump off, I released the stick, and there was a moment where I was not holding the stick, and during that time was when only after I had released the stick for at least 1 frame, was when I pressed B to jump slash. Okay, I couldn't make it work. I my muscle memory. Yeah, you'll get some weird thing where like I was saying earlier, you don't have to do that jump slash at all. Because you didn't do the jump slash, then you might just want to go ahead and draw it like here by doing a jump slash. Although actually, don't do that. What you should do instead of that is when you get up to this door, press B right before you enter the door. Let me see if I can figure out the timing. Maybe this is harder than I thought it was. It might be frame perfect to do it this way. I'll just do it as fast as I can. Okay, no, I think if you just press B and then immediately press A, no, I think it's frame perfect. Okay, maybe don't do it that way. So yeah, maybe do a jump slash when you land right here, or just draw your sword quickly at the door. You can instantly draw your sword at any time by pressing B, which, you know, if you just press B, it's going to do a slash, obviously. Different slash depending on how you're moving. But if you just press B but then immediately hold shield, the shield is going to take precedent over the slash you were trying to do. So he's going to draw the sword for the slash, but then he's just going to crouch. So B into R is always a good way to draw your sword quickly. So maybe instead of the jump slash here, as you're jumping over this gap, which you can also just play it really safe and go around, but instead of jump slashing over that gap to draw your sword, you should just quickly draw your sword here at the door like that, probably. And this fight, it's a little bit awkward sometimes. So basically you want to target immediately and then just walk forward and walk toward him. And ideally he will let you, apparently my shield doesn't work. Ideally he'll let you just walk straight forward and jump slash him. And then jump slash cancel and jump slash him again. Like that. Just like that. And I am jump slash canceling. I'm not using shield because I want to stay targeted. You want to keep your clean target rather than like Z targeting him. Because if you target him, he somehow starts magically dodging all your attacks. So you probably don't want to try to like shield to cancel the jump slashes. Just cancel the jump slashes with the spinning the stick. It's not like while you're targeted, no one gives you to like turn around and run a different direction. Anyway, so it's fine. But yeah, he can also just kind of swerve to the side like he did that first time. For some reason now he's not doing it. But if he does that, you just kind of have to give up and start, you know, let go of your target and just slash him 4 times. I think that's all pretty straightforward. Roll to the chest, and got a big scary trick coming up, but I will explain how to do it. Okay, after you clear this text, just target and backwalk, and somehow maybe don't do what I just did. I don't know why he swerved to the side there, to be honest. That does happen to me sometimes. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Roll once, roll over the gap, just rolling back to the door. Here it's actually faster to do some side hops. I think even if you mash, it's quite a bit faster to do side hops, and you just want to curve them up a little bit. So I guess enter this door kind of more to the left. So more on the left, like this. And then just mash 9 side hops. And then release your target and walk to the right. You can also try to time the side hops. They're much more easy to time when you're on flat ground like that. Here... Okay, so here what I'm going to recommend is go and target this pillar. Flick down or shield turn down if you're more comfortable with that. And then you're gonna do 3 hovers. If you get good hovers, so like that's a good enough hover. and then two chew hovers, and then you're going to untarget on one of those chews, and then you're going to hold down and turn Zora to climb the ledge. So you have to untarget or else Zora can't turn around to grab the ledge. If you, so in case it's not obvious, the height of this flower is important. You cannot just hover from this level, you can't just hover from the ground, do 3 hovers and get high enough. You actually need this extra height from standing on top of this flower. Another thing that makes this a little bit awkward is if you're, that's not really what I wanted to get. If you're a little bit too far back like this, the timing becomes different to untarget on that last chew because you're up against a wall. And in this case, there happened to be a dragonfly that flew over here, and so I targeted the dragonfly even though I failed to target the chew. But as you can see, that's not always going to be the case. Here I am stuck with no dragonfly to target. If this happens, I'm not exactly sure what to recommend. I guess you can shield the chew without even hovering, and well, there a dragonfly came. So if the dragonflies bother you, I mean, you can just kill them if you're on the ground. But if they bother you when you're in the air, you can always like do an extra hover quickly to blow them up. But yeah, I think the dragonflies are not very likely to bother you if you actually just do this movement as quickly as you can as soon as you enter this room. See, even there, that was like I got a little bit too much of a distance hover, and I ended up like right against the pillar. So I think you really do want to set up pretty far forward on this flower. Like maybe here is where you want to walk up to. Let's try this one more time. And then you really just want to get pure height hovers if possible. So there I was able to target the chew with the normal timing and unlock the camera. So now I'm just holding down and turning Zora. By the way, when you transform, some people don't notice this, so I need to call it out. When you transform, if you just, so you can obviously skip this cutscene after the first time by just pressing the button again or pressing A again or whatever. I normally my habit is just to press the mask button multiple times and kind of mash it a little bit until you're sure that you're not getting that extra cutscene. But another thing is that there's a bit of a delay if you're not holding a direction. So like, you may think that delay is like part of the cutscene and wait to press a direction, but if you just hold a direction, you will move as soon as you can. That's much less delay. Hopefully that makes sense. So I am going to recommend an alternative strat here because there are some things that are awkward about this pillar hover, like I said. You can sometimes target, by the way, for this strat, you can sometimes target the first chew rather than the second chew, and then just do a chew hover back with the camera unlocked for that last hover. However, sometimes the dragonfly will be in an inconvenient spot, and when you try to target that first chew, you'll try to target the dragonfly instead, which it's fine if you target the dragonfly on the last hover because you don't have to do another hover after that. However, it's not fine if you target the dragonfly after the first. Basically, when you target an enemy during a hover, and yeah, for whatever reason, you can't do a hover out of that. So, yeah. So that's why I'm recommending not trying to untarget until the last chew, but, until the last hover. But that means that you only have one chance at that untarget, and if you're accidentally too close to the pillar, then it's kind of bad. But you don't have to be that close to the pillar. Like, if you saw that right there, it didn't look like I was that close to the pillar, but it's still fine to grab the wedge. So try to learn that strat. If you can't learn that strat, here's an alternative that I'm going to explain as well. Hold left and mash bomb and to throw a bomb like that. And then do a staircase hover like this. And that was a terrible, terrible staircase hover because I haven't done this strat in a million years, so I'm not used to the timing, but I'm pretty sure that's still going to work. You really just... Oh, that's not quite going to work, actually. Okay, and the chew timing for this is different as well because you're up against a wall, but you do have 2 chances at it. First, like 3 frames, I think. You don't have to mash that fast at all. Which will go into a good position. And then you're immediately walking to... Whoops. You're immediately walking to this wall and pulling another bomb and getting ISG. I personally think... I don't know. Either... I kind of did that in an awkward way. You just hold down left as you're climbing. Okay, don't... I haven't done this in so long. Hold down left as you're climbing, and then at some point roll and start buffering. And I'm not... You can see I'm not holding any buttons while I'm doing this buffering. But at some point, you're going to get to this frame where he starts to fall off the ledge. Well, not fall. He starts to grab the ledge because you're not holding any direction. This exact frame, you need to make sure it looks like this, because if you're 1 frame late, it will look kind of similar to this, but you'll fall down if you try what I'm about to say. But the frame that looks exactly like this, you unpause, and during the unpause lag, hold both target and A. And you'll go into the pillar like that. And then you can target to get a straight angle, take off Zora Mask, shield turn down. If this dragonfly is coming to get you because you took 1,000,000 years, you can... Is he coming to get me? I don't know. Regardless, if he is coming to get you, you can turn Zora. You can turn Zora again and like use your Zora barrier to kill him if he comes at you. You don't want him to like knock you back because it's very easy to just fall off right here. Like literally 1 step forward is a fall off into the void. Okay, so yeah, if you climb this way, you're holding down left, rolling, and then buffering, and then doing target and A on the right frame. Oh, that's actually 1 frame late, I think. Yeah, that's one. So that's what the 1 frame late looks like. It's very slightly different than the correct frame. Okay, but let me show the other way. If you do the hover the first way I described, trying to figure out if this dragonfly is going to bother me. Maybe you should have walked a little farther forward. No, that's fine. You're climbing in this spot, which means you want to target and slash with B, and then just hold left. I'm already holding left during the slash, and then I'm just buffering. Okay, and now here's the first frame, and again, I'm already holding left during the slash, and then I'm just buffering. I don't like during the unpause, mean pressing unpause and when you see the game. You know, get multiple. Definitely would recommend. You're gonna shield turn down, and here is one instance where I definitely would recommend buffering ISG unless you're very comfortable with it and or very comfortable with the backups. If you fail ISG here, you can get multiple chances, and then you can even get a chance at a damage ISG like that, which will definitely save you. But if you fail, your multiple tries at the ISG and then you fail the damage ISG as well, you're going flying out into the nether regions. So I'm gonna save with this angle. So you might want to buffer this ISG, is what I'm saying. And to make it a little bit easier to see your sword, which can help with visual cues for doing unbuffered ISG, but can also help with confirming that you got ISG after you unpause. You can hold left after I start shielding. I'm going to start holding left as I stab. Is this guy really coming to bother me? Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, yeah, that does work. Like I said, I never doubted myself for a second. Okay, so I'm going to hold left as I stab, and then I'm going to buffer. Okay, this should be the frame, and if I just keep holding left for a little bit longer, I will see... Actually, I don't even think I have to hold left. I think I can just press... Can I just press A out of this? I'm actually... Hang on. I don't really know how buffering ISG works. Can I just press A out of this? Yeah, so I could see there for a second that... I could see there for a second that the sword was glowing because I got ISG. And so what I'm going to recommend here is doing a microscopic hover like that. So that was like 8th or 9th fast flash timing. to get a very short hover. If you get a longer hover, even like a regular height hover, okay, that was not quite far enough. But if I went just a little farther than that, you would be in this dark place, and you would have to like do another chew hover or something to get to a place where you can even see what you're doing. So this helps. Tiny hover makes it so that you get a little bit of distance, so that you're not like rolling. Well, so that you don't roll forward and get farther away from your destination before you do the mega flip or mega side hop that I'm about to recommend. And yet you don't go far enough that you end up in the dark place. Okay, so after that one tiny bomb hover, you need to do 3 megas, which can be any combination you want of mega flips and mega side hops. If you want, you can do the classic 3 megas. Really long mega flip, another really long mega flip, or I guess not as long, maybe like to right there. And then I think this is good. I don't really exactly remember the position for all these different options. Okay, that was actually too far. I think the first mega flip should not have been nearly that far. I guess it's also different because I am in this spot. You probably don't want to do 3 mega flips. What you probably want to do is either 3 mega side hops or 1 mega flip and 2 mega side hops. So with both of those options, you want to curve to the left at some point. Oh, also, if you're doing a mega if you want to do a mega side hop first, which is probably the main thing I'm going to recommend, it helps. The short hover that we just did helps for that. It's very awkward doing a right mega side hop to go left from inbounds or from inside the pillar, but it's very easy to do it from here. So this is what I'm going to recommend. By the way, mega side hops are just a lot easier to buffer than mega flips, I think. Can't you just do this? Yeah. So you want to time these so that you're holding full right for that one, and you are, you're curving that one as hard to the left as you can. That was a right mega side hop, and I just kept holding right. And then you're going to do that again. And for both of these, you're just kind of stopping it right when Link starts to scream. So you can listen for his gasp that precedes he kind of gasps right before he screams. And you can listen for that gasp as an audio cue to react to. Maybe I shouldn't have stopped curving there, but this should work. I'm guessing this is still going to work. Curve it back, and oh, that actually didn't work. Okay, so yeah, I don't think you want to. I think you want to full curve them. So full curve. Right when he started screaming was when I stopped it. Right when he started screaming was when I stopped it, and then back the other way with the left, and that should work. So that's the way to do it with just mega side hops. It is more lenient. The curving part, the curving aspect, you kind of just have to use visual cues to know if you're in the right spot or whatever. But the curving aspect becomes more lenient if you do 1 mega flip. So you might want to do this. This is a little bit more awkward though, because you don't want to full curve that if you did a mega flip and got more distance like I just did. But then a mega side hop should work. And it should be much more lenient. You're not nearly as close in this case to going inbounds. Also, I'm untargeting on the chew every time, which is pretty easy. I mean, it's the same timing as usual untargeting on chews during a hover when you're not up against a wall. But that kind of fixes the camera. If you don't do that, you might end up way off screen, and you might have to wait for the camera to kind of catch up to where you are. But if that happens, you want to equip the bow. I actually have it written out. Okay, yeah, I have it written out to equip the bow here because you're about to equip the bow for the Adalwa fight probably anyway. And if you pull the bow, that always fixes the camera to where you are. So like if I do a super long mega flip and don't fix the camera, but then I pull the bow, now I can see what I'm doing. Obviously this is not a good position. This is very far past where you're actually supposed to be. So yeah, this is another place where potentially the collision viewer can help. It's a little bit awkward, but like you can see. Let's see how helpful this actually is. Is this big unloaded, some big fire? So this edge we kind of want to aim this, and then we're curving around. You notice whether you were late or early on the Link screaming cues. And if you end up kind of somewhere around this corner, right? Like Link's head is just below this corner here. Like, you know, in the way far in front of me in the room where I came from.
Pretty tricky, but not impossible. Oh, I never made a new save. God damn it. Dude, what? Maybe I wanna look here and do it. No. I'm not getting... God damn it. I can't fucking target a chew. Ah! Damn it. Dude, I cannot target the fucking chew. It's so annoying. I'm getting impatient now. I'm getting really impatient now. I thought this part was easy. God damn it. It's too hot. Can't stand it. It's fucking hot as shit in here. Still not even the hottest part of summer. Mm-hmm. Ah, that is fucking hard. Um,
is this corner. And if you're kind of level, approximately level with the corner, then this should use your audio cues of Link screaming. If you're consistently not getting enough distance and like ending up in the unload sense, you'll probably have bow equipped here. But if you don't, maybe go ahead and equip it. But although there are ways to do this without equipping bow, and I'm going to show a few different ways because people have different level. Some people are comfortable doing quick spins like the actual good strat. But I'll show the slightly easier quick spin method where you don't do the initial jump slash, I guess. So if you want to do it the really, I'll show the very easiest way first. The very easiest way is you shoot him. You can always shoot him kind of like on his shins. If you shoot him in the shins, he'll pretty much always get stunned. If you try to shoot him elsewhere on his body, he'll shield it or maybe jump away or something. So yeah, just shoot him somewhere around his shins, and then just walk up and do the very easy thing. I started going too early. But, I mean, again, just continue with the very easy thing. 20 crouch stabs. That will kill the boss, and it's better than, you know, trying to do it a hard way and failing and letting him jump around and do all kinds of stuff. But, you can also, there are other things you can do. You can, well, I guess I'll show us a way that I would maybe consider potentially easier than quick spins, which is to wait for him to attack. Sorry, wait at this particular spot for him to attack. If you try to get too close to him, he will do a different or jump away, yes. But if you stand at that particular distance from him, kind of look at this purplish area on the ground, and walk a little bit past it to this like black line I'm standing on now. And then just wait for him to attack and shoot. I didn't play the bow quickly enough because I was talking. So get into this position, hold the bow, and then shoot as he comes at you. Sometimes that will be slightly delayed because that RNG will like do a little bit of extra dancing, but eventually he will do that attack, and you can stun him during that attack, and that will put him in this very convenient spot right in front of you. And then you can do this strat, which personally I think it's kind of an annoying strat, but I've heard multiple beginner players say that they like this strat better than the quick spin strat, so here it is. Release the target, and then draw your sword, and then see up and look down a little bit so that you can target without targeting him. Target to get a straight angle without targeting him. Let's see if I can do it. And then jump safe. The weird thing is, you kind of get pushed to the right here. So you have to do this awkward, like, one step down left every time. In between every jump slash, you need to do, like, one step down left. And I'm not doing jump slash cancels. You can do jump slash cancels, which can maybe make it easier. But also, like, at the same time, that also makes it more awkward. Like, there I have more time to adjust, but, like, I'm doing so much more weird control stick movement. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, it's just 10 jump slashes, so that's quite a bit faster than 20 crouch stabs. And it helps to be familiar with that repeatedly jump slashing type of movement or type of pattern, because that will be helpful for Majora much later. So that's another way of doing it if you want to do it a little bit faster than the crouch stabs, but you really hate quick spinning. Quick spinning, by the way, I've had a really bad experience with a controller that I had, where quick spinning just actually was not consistent because of the controller. No, due to no fault of my own. This took me forever to figure out. So that might be the case for you as well. Consistent with quick spin. Might also just be bad. I mean, don't be offended by that, because quick spin is genuinely kind of hard. But, or at least hard to be very consistent at. But, yeah, if you do want to do a quick spin strat, you can do it really fast by, you can set it up immediately by jump slashing here, but you can also set it up, you can also do it the same way, but just side hop out of the way to dodge his sword, which makes it a little bit more lenient to get started. So, here I'm listening to his ya-huh, ya side hop, and then I'm walking back in. I'm doing 7 quick spins. Oh, you actually have to time the last one as well, huh? Maybe that makes it a little bit harder. So the weird thing about the quick spins is you have to delay the flow. So walking back 3. I'm slightly delaying that 4th one, and then slightly delaying the 7th one as well. For some reason, your quick spins come in like groups of 3. The 3rd quick spin in a row is going to be like a slightly different, longer animation. And because of that, you have to time the one after that slightly differently. So if you're comfortable with quick spinning, you can try that. You can even try what people do in runs, but I'm not going to explain that. Or, you know, you can try what top players do in runs, but I'm not going to explain that. Is there anything else to explain about this guy? I don't think so. Yeah, just get the remains. If you've seen some old beginner routes or something, they may recommend getting the heart container here. You probably don't want to do that, even though Majora is going to be a struggle with 3 hearts. I mean, you're going to have a fairy for Majora, which you can duplicate infinite times, so it can't be that much of a struggle no matter what. But you probably don't want to get a heart container, an extra heart container in this run, because you want to do a, well, I guess I didn't really think about this. The only death warp that I'm going to recommend is after Goat. So maybe you should get this heart container after Adalwa. Because for Goat, you have plenty of time to lose as much health as you need to lose to set up for the death warp. But I guess if you're doing the Gaiorg Remains escape, which I'll mention but not actually teach, if you're doing the Gaiorg Remains escape, you probably don't want to get that extra health because it's going to be harder to lose that health to set up for the death warp. Anyway, make a decision about that. That's it. Okay, we have done all this stuff. We've done Adalwa. I have save states specifically for these specific difficult parts, like Porch Mega specifically and Boss Skip specifically. You're going to want to practice those a lot probably, especially the Boss Skip. Reminder to buffer as much as you need to just not fail the Boss Skip. But also don't reset when you fail the Boss Skip, just slow back to the entrance and then do the dungeon whatever semi-casual way and just go and get the boss key and go into Adalwa the regular way. Okay, so yeah, after Adalwa there's a long cutscene. Roll down right, roll up right. His move. And then here, this movement, you can kind of do the good thing, which requires a bit of finesse like that. Even I failed sometimes.
This guy is pissing me off, dude. Ay. Fucking fruitcake. This guy is a fucking... I ain't gonna say it. This guy is pissing me off. Fucking die. Just fucking spin! I can't spin, dude. I'm fucking sick of this, dude. I'm ready for the next activity of the night, dude. I'm about done with this game for now. What a pain in the ass. All that just so I could go back to having 3 hearts. Could have done that programmatically with KZ. After this, I'm gonna switch. After this cutscene, I'm gonna switch games. Come back to this later, because I learned enough for one day. All right. I want to Zelda 1 through 3. Or maybe not. I don't know. It might just be done for now. Yeah, I feel fucking burnt out. Totally burnt out. Totally mentally exhausted after that shit. Ugh. I'm an idiot. I had something covering the vent for AC in this room. Like, no fucking wonder it's hot as shit in here. Alright, I'll come back later, guys. I need a break. Getting angry.